Today we're headed to a town where in 1948, a bear cub named Pete was adopted by a local man and lived there at his gas station until he died in 1979, which apparently is more than double the life of the average black bear. We're going to visit a town that, in a great fire of 1908, the city's townspeople buried all of their valuables and silver in a hole in the ground to protect it from the intense flames, only to find out later on, when they had dug it up, they'd all melted together into one big pot. The town in question was only accessible by car by 1969, when Highway 11 was the first road to service automobiles to travel to the north. Before that, the only way for people to come up this way was by steamboats and other tugs. The main reason people might have heard of Burks Falls is that once every year there's a Harvest Festival concert played there. It's kind of an EDM and an electronic and a funk type show. It takes place over 4 days. But it's not the festival we're interested in, it's the venue. As soon as you come down this road and you catch a glimpse of the first piece, you understand that this is different than anything else that you ever might have seen. So join my wife and I as we go inside the grounds of the Midlothian Castle, or as most people simply call it, the Screaming Heads. Now, I have seen other YouTube videos of people at this place going on about how it's a cult, how it's demonic. I think I saw another video with over 1 million views with a guy losing his mind about where did they come from, why are the gates closed. The Screaming Heads is not a cult, nor is it a satanic ground or anything even shrouded in mystery, depending on your meaning of the word. It was created by a man called Peter Kamani. He was a high school teacher and an artist who bought a 300-acre of land back in the 1980s. Through the structures he's built on his property are all inspired by a concept of duality, often found in teachings from Druids as well. So all of his sculptures are set in such a way so when the sun rises from the east, it lights up one entire side of his sculptures. So you have a light and a dark. Obviously, vice versa to that, by the end of the day, you will see a gradual reversal of the light casting upon his sculptures. Now, I've read there's more than 100 of these, and they all stand about 10 to 20 feet tall. There's lots of pathways you can take around his property, and he is more than welcome to let you come and see. Mainly just giving a brief donation at the gate. There are some little huts where you can buy things. He's got a little market. Now, the most interesting part is his personal house, where right at the top, there's a skull-shaped peak with windows for eyes and a mouth, which I have read is his actual studio. Now, again, in these videos I've seen, people are assuming there's something behind the gates when they're closed and you're forbidden to enter. But it's just his house, and he wants to keep you out sometimes. He has built a garden pond in the middle of his property on the east side of the road that he has basically constructed to be a Monet-like scene, as he was a big fan of artists from this period. Now, I've read previously that he was an architect that did work over at the Vatican, Italy, and Rome. However, as I went back to back up these facts, I couldn't really find much information about it. But he did do an interview for many TV shows and magazines over the time. And when I was there, I couldn't see all he was talking about, but it's a lot to take in. Apparently, there are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. There's famine and disease and death. and a lot of things that will pop up, and it's very open to interpretation. I'm also told that if you get an aerial view of the property, the four horsemen shape apparently will make up the shape of a dragon. Now, I didn't get a chance to put my drone up here because it was a little packed and I wanted to be respectful and I didn't really want to get too much into making it about me, so we just walked around. At the base of all of these structures, he has little notes and messages and little sayings and phrases that are obvious. They are not put there for tourists to interpret. They are for him and people who know him, from what it seems, as there's not a whole lot of sense to a lot of it. But this is basically a a collaboration of 3 to 4 decades of his work, of him just building this property, and the fact that he allows people to come and see it is quite extraordinary, I think. And the more you walk around and you notice the workmanship, how nothing makes sense on its own, but altogether it has this very unique, mysterious quality to it, where it really would just make me want to sit in a room with this man and pick his brain for hours. So I know there's a lot of symbolism here that I cannot comprehend, and I'd be really interested to see what his thought process are in this. As you make your way back to the front of the property, you will be greeted by his peacocks, of which there are a few wandering the property, and you can hear throughout your wanderings over the course of the day. He also has some small hobby farm fields where he grows, I'm assuming, food for himself, along with some concession stands out front. All in all, it's a very interesting space to spend a few hours in. I hear in the winter it can be quite the thing to see as well. I would like to come back, and actually, the wife and I are planning to maybe check out the Harvest Festival come September, even though it's neither of our thing really. I think the Screaming Heads at night would be quite the thing to behold. We have enjoyed our time here. It's time to make one last stop at Burks Falls before we head home to the day. It's hot, we're both sweaty, so now we're packing up and heading across town. We're gonna check out Pickerel Lake. I've been shooting today with the Tamron 18 to 300 Fuji X mount on the XH2S. Now, I've had this lens for a while and I've just never quite bonded with it. I don't really like the results it gives. I don't really like using it. However, for an all-in-one kit, it can't really be beat. It takes away a little bit of artistic expression due to the limitations of having such a long zoom range. But as I was trying to pack as light as possible, I figured today was a good time to test it out. It's for sale if anyone's interested. I had a lot of fun in the edit with this video, as it was done a little different than how I normally do it. My lovely wife offered to take control of the Osmo Pocket 3, so while I could walk around and focus on compositions, She was taking in the landscape for me. Now, I'm not overly pleased with any of the photos I walked away from today, be it the lens or my mindset or the fact that I was more interested in living the experience myself. But normally when I come into the edit after a shoot like this, I've already shot in sequence, I've shot for the edit, and I know roughly how I'm going to cut it all together. This was much more fun to me because I had no idea really what was on that SD card when I plugged it into my computer, and I got to rifle through everything and clip together shots of everything she's put together while not knowing what's there. So I really enjoyed the edit for this one. A lot of people say they don't like editing. I find it one of the most enjoyable parts, and especially today when I got to have some more fun with it than normal. So once again, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate the support. Any input, any questions, put them in down below. A like or a subscription will always help me along my way, or suggestions to places that I might not know about where I can check out next. Be safe out there, and take care till next time. Cheers.